Hi, everybody. I'm Donna Sauerburger, and I'm so excited to come to VCOP 21. Every VCOP I've come to has changed me in some way or the other. And this time, the topic, the theme, making big change happen, is so appropriate. I'm going to be talking about transform yourself and the world. And so I'm really excited to see you there. So make sure you register, and we'll make things happen.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mariquita Solis of Climate Healers. I'm here with Donna Sauerburger. I'm excited because she is one of our speakers at VCOP 21, Making Big Change Happen. It's going to be on April 26th and 27th, and Donna will be speaking about transforming yourself and the world. So make sure you register for that. Don't wait till the last minute because we want to see you there. It's a 2-day event. Join when you can, go take a break, join again. So today I want to find out more about Donna. So thanks for joining me, Donna.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here, and I'm really looking forward to the V Cup. I've gone to so many, and there wasn't any that didn't change me in some way, that didn't help me grow, help me help me learn, or in some way, in sometimes very profound ways. And so the topic, I was really excited when I heard that the theme is changing. What was the theme again?
Making big change happen.
Making big change happen, because I have I have a very keen interest in that. And it started really 35 years ago. First of all, I teach people who are blind how to get around, how to cross streets, how to use buses, how to go shopping, how to whatever, um, getting around the world. And we had been, I had been teaching about 20 years when two of my blind friends were killed crossing a street. And that's when I realized that the strategies we had been teaching people to use to cross streets didn't work anymore. And, at the time I was a practitioner. Nobody knew who I was. And I wondered, what could I do? And so I got brave and went to present at different conferences, basically playing chick with it. The sky is falling, the sky is falling. We need to change how we teach. And then I kind of sat back and waited for them to figure out, well, how should we be teaching so that this thing doesn't happen again, that these deaths don't happen again? That was 35 years ago. And I learned a lot. Sorry, I'm starting to tear up here. This is a long time ago, but
Take your time.
I found that people are very reluctant to change and adapt new techniques when it's discovered that what they've been teaching or doing is wrong. And I now realize that there's no profession that doesn't go through this. I thought we were exempt from that because my profession, orientation mobility specialists, tend to be, let's do it. Let's get out in the street and do it. And and I found that we're just like everybody else, especially the ones who are invested in it, maybe the professors or the authors, that have put into writing or established their position based on what we've all been teaching. And then to find out it's wrong, it's it's very painful, very, very painful. And I remember complaining to my friend at a dinner about this is like, I don't know, 15, 20 years after this. I said, we've done research, we've done publications. And they're just, one of the professors said he was going to sue me. He was talking to his lawyers to sue me for slander because what I was saying was against what he had written.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, yeah. And I found out, just as an aside, when I was doing a keynote on the topic of changing, adapting to change, I found out that the doctor who realized that washing your hands, having the doctors and medical people wash your hands saves lives. This was like, I don't know, a couple hundred years ago. And he ended up being committed to an insane asylum where the guards beat him to death within a week. So, you know,
Gosh, and I
what
just
I
heard
had
that
to endure
story. That's crazy. I just heard that story recently and it's shocking. Gosh.
might have been for me, I don't know. But anyway, so, I was never my husband sometimes thinks I belong in an insane asylum, but anyway, I was never assigned to a or be to death, but there's some stuff. And so this topic has intrigued me. And like I said, I was complaining to my friend, and her husband leans over and says, "You're never going to convince anybody." I said, "Excuse me." He said, "You're what's considered to be a deviant." I said, "Hello." And it turns out he was a student um, by a fellow, Everett Rogers, who did hundreds or wrote up hundreds and hundreds of studies of people trying to change the way things are done, having clean water in underdeveloped communities, having, talking about contraceptives or, farming techniques and whatever. Hundreds around the world of studies in how to change people. And people like me, as I said, when this first happened, I was a practitioner. But after presenting and writing and doing research, I bumped myself up to the deviant level where no one would consider me to be like them. I mean, I'm highly known and fortunately respected in my field, but people don't consider to me to be like them. So me saying something does not mean as much as somebody who they consider to be like them saying something. And so, anyway, as you can tell, I really worked on this book and I read every chapter and I learned so much that I now take a calmer approach. And we just finished doing a webinar that I think is going to, I've said this before, I think after 35 years, it might be true, that I think is actually going to make an impact and change our profession. And one of the things in it is that I have practitioners as the participants, and they push back and they add their own ideas. And so it's not just this deviant saying that this is so, but it's people like themselves saying, yeah, actually, that's good to go. Anyway, so that's my story and I'm sticking to it. So there you go.
What stops people from wanting change?
Well, there's a number of things, one of which is that I have found if you're invested in, for whatever reason, let's talk climate change and veganism, and say that people who have made their reputation based on a certain theory or understanding, if you try to undermine that, it undermines their sense of self-worth, what they've based their, what I see you're nodding, so maybe I don't need to explain anymore, but
Who they are.
it's huh?
It's part of who they
Who
are.
they are. You're saying who you are
Who they
and
are.
the authority and the expertise that you have that made you who you are.
Then what are you then?
What are you then? That's right. You're one of those old people who don't wash their hands and kill people. So who wants to think like that? Let's put her in the insane asylum and have the guards beat her to death. Anyway, so that's one thing. And there's a lot of information in here about us, why people and what makes them change. Some of the things that are most difficult to change Our theories are ideas that number one is not certain. For example, my street crossing thing, it's not certain that if you teach the way we used to teach, your students are going to die. And if you teach the way I'm suggesting, they're going to live. That's not certain. And if it's in the future, um, if you stop smoking now, you're going to live longer. Well, that's tomorrow. That's that's in the future. There was another one. Oh, if it's complicated, if it's hard to understand, even if they pass the first two and they say, "Yeah, I'm really on it," like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. You know, that's going to be rejected. And there was a fourth one which I can't remember. So the thing I was trying to do met all four of those, meaning it was going to be very difficult. Oh, the fourth one is it's contrary to what you believe because we're all with cognitive dissonance we want to be consistent in our beliefs, and so something that's like, in fact, this is called the backfire effect. If you have a belief and somebody comes to you with irrefutable evidence that that's not true, not only do you reject it, it strengthens your belief. Can you believe it?
I don't want to believe that.
It's true. Many studies have shown that you bring facts and it will strengthen their belief against that. So bringing facts is not going to do it. Anyway, so if it's against what you believe, it's going to be in the future. It's not certain and it's complicated. It's going to be really hard to convince people. And the climate change and the understanding that if we renew our forests by eliminating um, uh, animal agriculture, that's complicated. That's very much against what we believe. It's in the future, honey. Come on,
Right.
let's talk about today. And it's not certain. You know, if we do this, we're going to live longer and our planet's going to be, yeah, kind of. So anyway, so
Very interesting. Yeah. Excuse me. So so what happened with when you were working on changing with I mean to make changes after your friends were killed?
yeah. Well, as I said, I first started out by hoping that they come up with the answers and let us practitioners know what's going on. And it was a couple of weeks after they were killed, and I was working with a young woman, so eager and energetic and ready to learn, visual impaired, deaf and visually impaired, and we were working basically on the same street where my friends were killed. It was 10 miles away, but still the same street. And so we were going to start our lesson across the street. We had to go and learn to practice communicating with the bus driver. So I said, well, we're going to cross the street now. And so, so I offered to guide her. And she said, can I cross this by myself? And I just lost it because I thought, you're asking to do exactly what my friends did. They got killed. And so I told her the story about my friends. And she said, oh, the sweethearts died together. Oh, she was crying. And I said, I've been thinking about what we might do about this. Do you want to try it? And if she hadn't agreed, I would never have done it. But I then on the spot trained her to do what my friend was not able to do, which was to judge when the vehicles were far enough and slow enough to allow her time. And in a half an hour, she got it. And if she hadn't given me permission to do that, to experiment with her, I never would have tried it. And since then, I've done it with a lot of people who have enough vision to do it. And the other thing, cross when quiet is the other strategy we had for people who have no vision. And we now have a pretty sophisticated system for realizing if that's going to work or not. Are you getting enough warning? Anyway, long, complicated. You get to the weeds here. But basically, after my student, I was able to do something with her. Like I said, I went to to conferences to say, guys, what I've been doing, it's gonna get your students killed. We've got to come up with something else. And um, that went nowhere. I had no reaction to the publications and or the presenters. So, like I said, I started just experimenting, coming up with strategies, and again, very little to no, except for people saying I'm going to sue you for slander or different things like that. And but little by little, one after another, started to be um, interested in this. And then I thought we need some research. So we did research to show that the strategies we were using aren't reliable. And it's funny because in this book it talks about the doctors and how they started using tetracycline. And it wasn't because the research showed it worked. It wasn't because the universities and the leaders said do it. It's when their friends, the people that they thought were like themselves, said, "Hey, I tried this and it works." That's when they started using it. So having me do the research, write the publications and everything, like my friend's husband said, made me a deviant and made me not somebody that you want to do it to. So how did we, I don't know, 35 years. What was your question again?
I don't know. I'm very intrigued with what you're saying. So I forgot the question.
Oh, sorry.
No, I really like what you're saying. I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of, I mean, there has to be willing to take risk and willing to, and then um,
Yes, yes,
who's presenting the information is very important.
yes, yes. And you just said something very important. The people who are willing to try it, the ones who are like you, who maybe try it, the doctors or the farmers or whoever that tries it, have to have enough resources that if it fails, they will survive.
Mm,
People who are just struggling or just getting by don't have the resources to try something new. Let's see if that works. So it has to be somebody who has the time, the resources, the farmland, the I don't know, whatever to see if it works. They become the first adopters, and then the first adopters start spreading the word among themselves. And so, yeah.
well, these are some very good life lessons that you're teaching us here that I'm going to remember. I mean, the one thing that really stood out to me there was about the complicated. The more complicated it is, the more people just forget it. And that makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense, I mean, because when we
Yes.
think about
Yes.
veganism, it's like people are like, whoa, I don't even know how to start that. What does that even mean? We can't live
Yes.
without this or that. It's like that is way too much. And then, they'll come to me and say, I don't even know how to start. So, I mean, what you've just shared with me is very, very important information to make things easier for them.
Not only how to be a vegan, but how is that going to impact just because I have this little steak? How is that going to make my world better? How is that going to bring back our climate? That is very complicated. Silas and others have tried so hard to explain in simple terms how how animal agriculture has made it so that our climates are just collapsing. By the way, he has something really interesting which kind of blew my mind. He said every so often, excuse me, we have ice ages, and ours was due long ago. And because of what we've been doing, we
Mhm.
bypassed it. And on the one hand, we're darn powerful if we could do that. But on the other hand, we didn't know what we were doing. It what we were doing changed the world and avoided another ice age. However, what we're doing is now going to destroy us. So um, we're powerful. If we could understand what the heck we're doing, it would really make it make our make us powerful enough to do what we need to do to save our planet.
Right.
And you talk about being invested. The politicians, the climate leaders are invested emotionally, in what they believe to be true. So we have a complicated theory, and and it's going to be in the future, and it's against what you believe. What tick on those four things again? It ticks every one of them, and so it's very difficult.
Well, you reminded us to keep it simple, and yeah, it is very like when you say, oh, well, a burger takes this much, this much, this much, this much. That's a lot of information for people. And it's almost like, what do you mean? Is that even something that I can believe that a burger takes up this many? I mean, that's something that if I wasn't knowledgeable, I would say that's not even true. I mean, I have to wrap my head around, I have to sit and think about it as who, being who I am. So the average person, I can see how it would be just like,
Yeah.
that's not even believable.
Yeah. Yeah. I think those of us who have been vegan are open to that belief. So we're not fighting against a belief for us. We're open to that. But a lot of people are not. They're not, that's not part of their belief. So
Right. Well,
yeah.
this is very interesting. And this is just circling back to making sure that you all come to VCOP 21, making big change happen to see Donna. And it's on April 26th and 27th. And again, she'll be speaking with Transform Yourself and the World. So I just wanted to just have a few words with her today so you'd get to know her a little bit better. And make sure you register. So yeah, tell us your final words here, Donna.
One little thing. I'm going to be talking about transforming ourselves and our beliefs about the world. Because sometimes our beliefs about the world pull us down, fill us with despair, make us feel like we're powerless, we're not capable. And so I'm going to be focusing more on that, changing our own beliefs about ourselves and about the world around us, and so that we can become more powerful and more at feeling at ease and peace.
Well, this is definitely not to be missed. So I hope everyone registers so you can see Donna. And I really appreciate you spending this time with me, Donna, speaking
I've
to
enjoyed
me.
this so much. Thank you.
All right, we'll see you all at VCOP 21.
See you there. Ah.
So make sure you come to VCOP 21, making big change happen, April 26th and 27th to see Donna. And she is going to be speaking on. Tell us what you're speaking on, Donna.
Thank you. I'm going to be talking about transforming yourself, your own beliefs, because some of our beliefs lift us and some of our beliefs fill us with despair that we're not capable, that the world is, people are terrible people, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm going to be basing it on a wonderful book written by my mother, How to Think If You Want to Change the World. And so many wonderful chapters in there, but the one I'm going to be focusing on is the one about building your beliefs about yourself and um, making yourself more powerful and more at ease with yourself. So I hope you come.
Yes, we will see you there. Don't forget to register.